Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Serial Gaming here, and today before we go into our video and the topic that we will be talking about, I would like to give a huge shout out to all of y'all because y'all have been really amazing, really supportive, and my channel right now has finally hit 2,000 subscribers. And like I said, I couldn't do this without everyone's support here, and I really appreciate it and just want to give this time to mention how thankful I am to all of y'all. So I hope you continue supporting my channel, and I'll continue to try my best to provide the best content I can. And of course, if you're new to my channel, consider clicking that like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course subscribe to my channel. You can also continue supporting my channel further by actually clicking the join button to join up the membership that I set up to enjoy some additional perks, benefits. Alright, without further ado, we will be venturing into the next LD character and the BT Plus character that we will be talking about. First of all, we're going to start with Yuna. Yuna doesn't get any new weapon here, but she does get a new BT Plus. Before we talk about the BT Plus, we're going to talk about her rework first. She only get her reworks on her LD, but with the LD changes, it also changed her bravery and HP attack after the LD buff is active. So with her new LD upgrade, she now has 6 turns of her LD buff at quest start, so she can actually freely use other skill instead of just using her LD right at the start. Her LD does a 4 split AoE HP attack right now and improved the LD buff with a 10% party HP damage up. Of course, with the upgraded LD comes with a upgraded bravery attack and HP attack like I mentioned before. The bravery attack is a 3 single target HP attack, and the HP attack is a 3 split AoE HP attack. All of this skill actually batteries the entire party. The Crystal level 90 upgrade of Yuna actually extend her EX to a 5 single target HP attack with 50% splash, but that's about it. Her additional ability weirdly doesn't have any party buff, it only buffs herself. It's a 6 turn buff which provide a 20% self initial bravery up, a 50% self attack up, and a 40% self brave damage cap up. Again, it's really weird why this additional ability doesn't extend to the entire party considering she's a Aurabot, but we'll be looking into her BT Plus, which is also the newest upgrade that she'll be getting. The BT Plus right now provides an additional 10% HP damage up and a bravery refund based on 20% of the HP damage dealt to the entire party. So it's a very nice upgrade, that the fact that she does have bravery refund now, because we always love to have bravery refund, especially when characters like Garnet is introduced. It's always a nice thing to have. The BT originally already provides a very good buff, which is a 20% stolen overflow up, a 30% brave damage up, a 20% brave damage cap up, and if you don't have any debuff or active debuff in your party, she will be providing an additional 20% brave damage up, HP damage up, and HP damage cap up. And of course, HP damage cap up is always a very nice thing to have. So the entire aura that she provides, including her LD and that BT Plus, meaning that she'll be providing a 105% attack up, a 95% max bravery up, a 70% brave damage up, a 50% HP damage up, a 20% brave damage cap up, and a 20% HP damage cap up, with the 20% HP damage cap up being the most valuable in this entire aura. And of course, let's not forget about the bravery refund that she does for the entire party based on 20% of their HP damage dealt. So Yuna actually packs a lot of kit in her utility. She's a cleanser with Isuna skill and have a chance to extend the party buff. Although it's not exactly very relevant in this current era, because considering the upgrade actually extends everyone's buff to a very longevity situation where there's no longer the need to actually upkeep the buff further. But in this niche situation where if you want to extend the valuable buff like Gladiolus LD buff for example, you can actually use that Isuna skill to extend the buff. Furthermore, Yuna actually still is a very powerful Aurabot, even though in the face of Garnet, Ramza, or even Ciaran, Yuna is I would consider her on par with those units as an Aurabot herself. She's also a very reliable healer and a battery with a burst heal and a regen to the entire party. Also, let's not forget that Yuna's BT finisher is actually one of the highest damage dealing BT finisher in the game itself, alongside Cloud and Tidus. So that part itself is actually makes her very worthy to go greening her for. As for team synergy, she actually pairs really well with a lot of type of characters since she's a support, but you can actually further extend her utility with some other units. For example, Ramza and Garnet actually stacks that aura so you can deal the maximum damage with your DPS, or even you can run her with units like Selfie, Lena and Aerith to have that debuff evasion so that her aura will not fall off, since her BT aura actually ties to the fact that the party shouldn't have any active debuff. Although Yuna can cleanse it, but she can only cleanse on her turn, so until her FR she's still not a very reliable debuff evasion unit. So you can cleanse, like I said, but if you want to have that buff constantly upkeep, having this unit can actually help as well. However, despite how good Yuna is, she does have some problems. For example, her damage is really not the best. She relies a lot on batteries, and the potency of her damage itself is not the greatest, even with her own supportive aura. So that part wise, you might want to consider bringing her with other units that can help boost her damage if you're running her while trying to enjoy her doing some big damage. She also has curse artifacts. For those who don't understand what this means, it actually means that her reliability as a support actually is heavily influenced by the fact that she has the best artifact. Whether she has the best artifact, it actually provides quite a changes. I'm not sure whether having it now will be as relevant as having it before, but it still helps a bit since Yuna has really bad max bravery, if I recall. So having this artifact can actually help boost that max bravery so that she can provide the relevant aura to not just the party but to herself as well. Another thing I want to address about Yuna is she has no brave gains up. This is just sad for her because she's a unit that actually has a lot of batteries in her kit, and she actually refunds bravery as well with her BT+. So without any brave gain up actually makes the refund a lot less potent than before. I mean, than other characters. So that part is just, like I said, purely just sad. I have no idea why they didn't give that during her BT+ upgrade. The BT+ upgrade, honestly, in her aura is actually quite minimal. Besides the bravery refund, the additional 10% HP damage up is just not that great. Anyway, regardless of all these weaknesses, I will green Yuna because I really like to have a BT+ finisher that is going to do a very devastating amount of damage, especially when we're going into the Shinryu era. Do note that Yuna already got her FR in JP, and to be honest, it's not the greatest, but it's still really good. As for why I tie her BT finisher with the FR, it's because I want to abuse that final damage with the highest amount of percentage charge. She can do the maximum amount of damage with her BT finisher. Alright, so moving on from Yuna, we'll be getting Prishe as well. Prishe is entirely different story. Her kit sounds a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, but actually she's very simple to use. So before we're going to talk about her rework, you need to first understand how she works, how her kit works. Her skill 1 and skill 2 has the base form and will change. It depends on whether or not you're using the skill 1 or skill 2. Okay, so we start off with the base form. The skill 1 now does have a additional 3 usage, and the base form provides a 4 single target HP attack. It's a free skill and an instant turn rate. Her skill 2 spinning attack also have a 3 additional usage right now. The base form provides a 3 split AoE HP attack, and it's as well a free skill and an instant turn rate skill as well. So if you're using her skill 1, her skill 1 will be converted into an attack which deals 4 wholly single target HP attack, and it's a ignore defense and a high turn rate skill. If you use her skill 2, her skill 1 will be converted into another attack which is called Howling Fist Fusion Plus. It's a 4 fire plus wholly single target HP attack, and it bravery refunds between HP attack. So you can see that there's a mild differences between these two skill. Both form actually does the same amount of HP dumps, but the first type actually ignore defense and the second type have bravery refunds between HP attack. So really it depends on whether or not you're able to cap your damage. If you're able to cap, using the second form of her skill 1 is a lot better than using the first form of her skill 1, since it actually have that bravery refund for her to do the maximum amount of HP attack between HP dumps. As for her skill 2, it also changed, but regardless of whether or not you're using her base skill 1 or skill 2, it will be converted into the same skill 2, which is called Backhand Blow Detonation Plus. It's a 3 win single target HP attack with a 50% splash. Her Crystal Level 90 upgrade allows her EX to deal 6 single target HP attack, and it inflicts Fire, Wind, Holy, Elemental in peril, which means that unless the Elemental is absorbed, Prishe will always be dealing weakness attack. It also provides a 50% slash to non-targets, and it's an ignore defense attack, which is really nice, and it has free skill on the next turn as well, so I guess a pretty good EX, but all in all, it's a very powerful 6 single target HP attack. It's actually pretty good. The additional ability from the Crystal Level 90 upgrade now extended to 6 turn. Provide a 40% self attack up, a 20% self max bravery up, and a 40% self bravery damage cap up. Her LD, which is the newest kit, is a 12 single target HP attack. Ooh, a lot of HP attack right there. And it provides 6 turns off her LD buff. It provides a 20% stolen overflow up, a 40% HP damage up, a 50% brave damage up, a 10% attack up, and all bravery hits from Prishe will be doubled. For example, if she's dealing 6 bravery attack before a HP dump, she'll be now dealing 12 bravery attack before that HP dump. So essentially, Prishe is just gonna cap all her bravery attack as long as she's not being resisted. And that is actually a really cool LD if you ask me. The effect is actually very unique, but it may not be the greatest since it's not really hard to cap Prishe damage in this current era. The BT effect from her BT actually does the same effect but extend to the entire party, and it now also has a 20% brave damage and HP damage cap up. But with her BT plus, it will now be providing a additional 50% brave damage up and a 50% brave damage cap up, which means she'll be totaling up to 70% brave damage up, a 50% brave damage cap up, and a 20% HP damage cap up, as well as twice the amount of bravery hits for the entire party. So like I said, this effect is actually really cool, but it's not really the best BT effect for this current era since everyone's gonna cap anyway with the right support. So Prishe, I would say it's actually quite unique for certain characters, but definitely with the amount of brave gain that we can get in this era, it's definitely not the greatest. Although do note that Prishe also has a very good amount of bravery refunds from her LD. So I believe someone in JP actually does a video about this. Prishe actually have Iroha's call, and with Iroha's call she managed to sustain the amount of bravery from her BT plus, which allows her to hold up to a very high amount of max bravery overflow, kind of like Snow BT effect except without Snow's BT. And then with that amount of high bravery, coupled along with Ramza and Selfie, that guy actually managed to produce a very huge damage from Prishe follow-up attack from her LD. Although that only can be used once, but it does brings up a huge ton of damage. If I'm correct, it's actually 13 million HP attack from Prishe LD itself. Anyway, getting back to the main topic, Prishe is a very powerful single target damage dealer. She's like an upgraded Tifa with a BT plus, so yes, a very strong, very powerful damage dealer. Her LD alone does 12 single target HP attack, which is probably the highest amount of HP dumps that you can get in the game right now. And couple that with Leo's LD call, you definitely be seeing a very huge, devastating amount of damage. And her attack, of course, like you can see, it's mostly single target, with some having splash and some don't. The only skill from her that isn't single target is the base form of her skill too. So running her with a Leo LD call is definitely the most suitable call for her. She'll be activating most of the time, and considering the fact that she has double bravery attack, if you want to see the awesome combo between double HP attack and double bravery attack, definitely run that combo. So another fact is that her BT also enables every bravery damage dealer. For example, unit that doesn't have any brave gain, easily they can cap because basically she's just providing 100% brave damage up. For example, Squall with the limitation of without having a brave gain in between attack, he can actually benefit a lot from this, or Laguna as well. Prishe is also actually a very fast unit with either instant turn rate or very fast turn rate in her base skill. She also always hit weakness, like I mentioned before, since she does imperil her elemental attack. So unless the boss absorbs all 3 elemental damage, she'll be dealing mostly weakness attack, so her spear itself is actually really good for her own. She's also quite flexible, although her target attack are mainly single target. She does have some variation for AoE HP damage. And of course, since she's always hitting weakness damage, and with all this aura that she can have, she's actually very self-sufficient, even going forward into FR era. As for team synergy, like I mentioned before, Leo's LD call is the best for her. And if you can run her, you can also utilize her fast speed and her instant turn rate with link follow-up attackers or utility abusing as well, like Cisne, Freya, Laguna, Core, or even Selfie. As for the problem of having Prishe or running Prishe is that she has very minimal amount of AoE bravery damage. So if you're looking for a situation where you need to shave 2 of the enemy's bravery, you might have some problem with Prishe because she doesn't have a lot of AoE bravery attack. And she doesn't have a lot of aura in her BT effect, so definitely don't rely on her BT to help your entire party. And of course, with the fast turn rate and everything, it's definitely going to promote her as not being too AWP friendly, although her damage does tell otherwise. The damage itself is more than justifiable for her to deal the largest amount of damage per turn, even with her fast turn rate. Anyway, Prishe is definitely a very good character. I strongly recommend her if you're looking for a single target damage dealer. I personally gonna skip her because I gonna green Yuna, and if you're not greening Prishe, I see no reason for me myself to use her. Although she's definitely a very good candidate for the farming for Bahamut event, since like I said, she does the highest amount of single target damage in the game right now. So if you want to farm fast, at least get her LD. 12 single target damage dealing is definitely a very huge amount of damage, especially consider that this amount of damage can be done with her call as well. As for Celeste and Fran, I will be talking about them in a later video since I really took up a lot of time explaining these 2 characters. Prishe, like I said, is needlessly complicated with her skill, but definitely very easy to use. If you're going for AoE, just use her skill 2. And if you're using for single target, mainly focus on her skill 1. Her BT rotation can be a little bit unique since the base form of her skill is free skill, but once you use the second form of her skill, you're basically exhausting that particular skill itself in the BT phase. So you want to start off the BT while her skill is in her base form. And if you're looking for a single target HP attack, definitely use her skill 1 and then her skill 2. And then her skill 1 again and into her skill 1 to maximize the single target damage dealing. And if you're looking for the highest amount of AoE bravery HP attack, invert that rotation, starting off with her skill 2 first, and then her skill 1, and then her skill 2 and her skill 2 again to do the maximum amount of AoE HP attack. Although seriously, if you're running Prishe, you're most likely going for the single target damage dealing anyway to, like I said, capitalize that Leo LD call. Anyway, for this banner, it's a very interesting banner. Both units are really good. I just personally gonna green Yuna, so probably gonna go for Prishe in my alternate account. But I might pull for her LD to ease my farming since she definitely speed up a lot. So what are your plans for the banner? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Cheers.